Hey, this is Gio from Black Volt Amplification. I just wanted to share a little information with all y'all out there on how to, for under $20 and in less than 20 minutes in most cases, do a little spruce up on your tube amp, and also potentially save yourself from having to take it into a tech or just make it sound better. So what we're going to do is we're basically just going to go through and we're going to pull all the tubes out, and we're going to clean all the tube pins and all the tube sockets. It doesn't take that long, it's not dangerous, you don't need a schematic, and it's something you can do on your own. So take off this back panel. The amp we're going to be working on here is a 1968-69 drip edge Fender deluxe reverb. This is actually Santana's amp. It was brought to me by one of our clients, the great Drew Berlin. If you don't know Drew Berlin or the Burst Brothers, you should check them out. They're pretty amazing. They do buy, sell, trade, vintage gear, guitars, amps. Really great resource. Okay, we got the screws out of the back. We got them in a safe place here. Basically, you're gonna have to go through every single tube one at a time. Don't take the tubes off all at once. You definitely don't want to take all the tubes out at once. So we'll start over here with the rectifier. Spray all of the pins and spray out the socket. So you can see there, this amp has been heavily modified. It has 6L6s. It also has a really large transformer, which was an aftermarket change. To clean out the pins and sockets, I like to use Deoxit D5. It's really good stuff, and it's made for metal to metal surfaces. And now if you have a tube tester, which we have here, you can then test your tubes, or if you know someone that has a tube tester, that's a good way to go. I'm going to test this tube. This tube tested good. I'm going to put it back in. So it's been pulled out and it's been cleaned, and the tube socket's been cleaned. We're going to go through and do every single tube one at a time. So this is a 6L6 power tube, and I'm just going to wipe it down here. So the reason we do this is to reactivate all of the tube pins and all of the tube sockets. They get old, they get corroded, and they kind of start to lose a little bit of connection. And when you've got, anywhere from 5 to 10 pins on every single tube, that's a lot of connections. And that's one of the main connection points of the power in your amp, and the signal transfer from the signal through the power, the plates, the grids, the cathodes, all that. So when you go through and clean all of these, it really helps reactivate everything. So that's really the main reason you're doing that. We're going to test this. Okay, we've tested all of the tubes now. Everything has been tested. They all test good. All of the pins and all of the sockets have been cleaned. So that took about total maybe 15 minutes to do all of that, including testing, 15 to 20 minutes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to spray out the speaker output, extension speaker output, and we're going to move this thing in and out about 5 times to 5. You can do that a few times, and it helps to reactivate those connections, because they often don't get moved for a long time. And we're going to go ahead and spray out the input jacks. So we got channel 1, channel 2, and that'll reactivate those. I'm going to take a 1/4-inch cable, and I'm going to just do those guys. Sort of reactivate those points. So basically at this point we've cleaned out all the input jacks, the output jacks, the RCA connections for the reverb and the foot pedal, etc., and all of the pins and tube sockets. So this is not necessarily going to fix an amp that's down, but it will definitely help sort of rejuvenate an amp that's maybe older and hasn't been cleaned up in a while, and add a little bit more spark, a little more life, maybe get rid of static, gurgling noises, popping, stuff like that. Also, while you're doing this stuff, if you move the tubes around individually while the amp's on, you can sometimes hear if there's maybe a bad tube. It causes a lot of noise or something. That might be a sign that there's a bad tube. So basically for $20 in a can of cleaner and about 20 minutes, you can do this and make your amp sound better, potentially route out some problems that might have been there. I hope that helps.